This is Matt Ziegler. You're watching the Cultish Creative YouTube channel. I have a quick book review for you. We're talking about Working Identity, Herminia Ibarra. I love this book so much. Brian Portnoy, Tom Morgan, Lindsay Bell. I've talked to so many people about this book who seemingly all agree this is the single greatest career change book you can probably read. I got to give you a couple of clips from this. Let's start right at the beginning. Chapter 1. Listen to the way she opens this up. We like to think that the key to a successful career change is knowing what we want to do next and then using that knowledge to guide our actions. But change usually happens the other way around. Doing comes first, knowing second. Why? Because changing careers means redefining our working identity. Hey, the title of the book. How we see ourselves in our professional roles, what we convey about ourselves to others, and ultimately, how we live our working lives. Career transitions follow a first act and then think sequence because who we are and what we do are so tightly connected. The tight connection is the result of years of action. To change it, we must resort to the same methods. Most of the time, our working identity changes so gradually and naturally that we don't even notice how much we have changed. Skipping ahead just a page, two big reasons. First, we are not one self, but many selves. That's going to come up over and over again. Not one self, but many selves. That's the first big idea. Second big idea. It is nearly impossible to think about how to reinvent ourselves, and therefore it is equally hard to execute in a planned and orderly way. Hey, has your life been a mess? My life's been a mess. I know a little bit about this. Skipping to the middle of the book, where she talks about the middle, the ugliness of the middle, the multi-year ugliness of the middle. Transitions, hey, apparently they can take 5 years, 3-ish years on average. In the middle, it's always ugly in the middle. At the root of transition is transit, a voyage from one place to another. As in any voyage, there is a departure, a disorienting time of travel, and finally, a destination. She talks about becoming an X. She talks about basically the multi-hyphenated life. She talks about the slash life. Maybe not exactly in those words, that might be just my memory playing tricks on me here, but it's this idea of when you're becoming something else, understanding your identity as defined as not the thing you were doing before. That's a huge part of the process. It's part of the ugly middle. When she talks about the unconventional strategies to apply, she literally talks about 9 unconventional strategies. The 9 unconventional strategies for reinventing your career are: act, then reflect. Flirt with yourselves. Live the contradictions. Make big changes in small steps. Experiment with new roles. Find people who are what you want to be. Don't wait for the catalyst. Step back periodically, but not for too long, and seize windows of opportunity. These again play into that middle step. If you're stuck in the middle, replay those 9 because those can be the things that get you out of it. Last piece, a little bit of a footnote, demographics. In the study that she did, and this is a Harvard study here. This isn't just, you called up your buddies from high school and see how they're all doing at age 40. This is the demographics of 32 to 51-year-olds. That's who's in this study. The people interviewed for this study range in age from 32 to 51, with most between 38 and 43 squarely at mid-career. She goes on, Edgar Schein argues, it develops over time with varied experiences and meaningful feedback that allow people to discover their central and enduring preferences, talents, and values, which he termed their career anchors. This idea here is that once you have an anchor planted, 22 years old, you've been a child actor, you've got an anchor planted. If you're 65 years old and you've got a career and you're looking at something else, you've got an anchor planted. The demographics squarely in here, it doesn't mean you're going to go buy a sports car, but it does mean you got a multi-year transition. So if you're 22 or if you're 65, you got to think about it in that way. And the key common factor in who she was studying were people who had kind of a lot to lose on the other end of things. This book helped me a ton. If you know somebody in transition, if you're in a space helping others in transition, Working Identity, Herminia Ibarra, best book you can read on this topic, hands down.